Hey everyone, welcome to CS 161B Spring 2022. My name is Gayatri or GD Iyer, and this is a quick tour of this course. Shouldn't take any more than 5 minutes. Most of the information is all there. I'm just going to highlight a few things and then I will see you in class next week. So here is the online syllabus which I'm going to send to you. I'm going to embed this video in there as well. Here is contact information for me. There's my email address. More importantly, this Google Sheet, there's a link to it. If you click on that, it opens a tab that looks like this, where you can schedule times to meet with me. We start on April 4th. I have 10 to 5 is open. There is a break in between. Notice the time as you pick your slots. It's a half an hour slot. And we can use this for anything. We start with the mandatory meeting, which is very important. I like to meet with every one of you one-on-one the first week or in the first couple of weeks to just get to know you. And there's more about this. We'll talk about that. And then after that, anytime you want to schedule times with me. Granted, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I block off 10 to 12. We have class during Zoom lectures. If you're available, you can pop in for that. We'll do a lot of work in those at those times. But if you notice at the bottom, there are multiple tabs. Pick on the right tab. We go through, I'll fix these dates. We'll go through all weeks, all 10, 11 weeks of the term. I have times available. So you really should be meeting with me every week if you have problems, if you have issues with concepts. Most important thing about this class is this Google Sheet, right? To schedule times to meet with me. And beyond that, all the information is there in the syllabus. So you go to click on home up here, for example, go to course essentials, and it tells you what this course is about, what the outcomes are, some important answers to important questions, textbook and technology. How much should I study? Is this class hard? Yes, this class is hard. You've done 161A. That's the first half of 161. The second half has a lot more to it. We do the whole class on Unix. I would like you to be proficient with at least editing files and compiling code. That's what we're looking for. You must plan to spend at least 12 hours a week, which is a couple of hours every day. Take a break in between, but 2 hours every week, every day, 2 hours every day of programming is very important for the class in order to keep up with the pace of this class. So students find that by the 5th week, if you have not done much, you're really struggling, and then you cannot really do anything for the rest of this course. So I want you to be aware of that. Every day, I want you to spend at least a couple of hours programming. And there are so many resources, starting with Zybooks, that you can use, right? And we'll talk more about this on the first day of class. Then you go to textbook and technology. Please get your book from Zybooks if you can. If you really can do that, that would be great. They give you a discount. If you absolutely can't and you have to go to the big bookstore for whatever reasons, then that's fine. Most of technology, you don't have to pay for anything. It's all online stuff that we use. Just take a look at it. What's the plan for this course, right? I understand it's hard. We all have life. It's hard to balance work, family, and school and do all of those things. But we really must manage our time. So we have a couple of hours every day, at least an hour to sit down and catch up on our programs, right? And if you feel like you haven't been able to do that, then you should meet with me so we can have a plan. So based on that, just to help you do your time management, the class has 2 firm due dates. The first 4 assignments must be submitted by the end of week 5, at least the first version. Now, if you look at some of my late policy and deadlines, it's all open, meaning you can turn in everything until week 10, but you really are not going to be able to do that. So you should focus on turning something in every week. The revisions can be done later. So by the end of week 5, to be able to do the midterm, this is very important. You must submit the first submission of 4 assignments. And of course, then the second 4 must be turned in by week 10. So just keep that in mind as you go through it. There is this Linux and Vim manual that we'll talk more about those in the first week. But if you have a chance to get it started, you should go through the first chapter. Grading practice, I will try and get back to you right away if you submit your assignments within 3 days. I try to do it before that. 50% is based on assignments. You have discussions 10%. This is actually not right. This should be 20%, 20%. Your midterm and final exam, not 10%. They're 20% each, so that'll total 100%. And we go on a scale of 0 to 4. These are all things that you can read and in my late policy, in policies, it talks about you can turn in everything, there are no penalties, but you really must try and complete the first 4 assignments, must be done by week 5. That's the main thing, right? So the rest of the policies you can look over. Participation talks about what you need to do the first week. Some of these things must be done. Please do plan to meet with me. 2 important things, using that Google Sheet that we just saw here, and fill out the student profile document, which kind of asks you some questions about, hey, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? And how do you keep up with the class? And how can I help you? And what do you not like me to do? What would you like me to do? Things like that will help us get the conversation started when you first meet with me. So please try and do that before you meet with me that first time, so we can just talk about you and see how I can help you with this class. And it's a good way to introduce each other. The rest of the stuff, again, go through it. We will talk more about it. If you have any questions, feel free. Here is an agreement between you and me. What can you expect from me, and what can I expect from you? And just read through all this. My goal is to provide a supportive, safe, and brave environment for you, which is very important. When you need support, please, I want to be there to help you. That's very important. I do put my heart and soul into this, as it says here, and I do trust you. So please make sure that you reciprocate as best as you can. And all I ask is that you contact me when you need help, and every week or on time. So here are some things that I would like you to read through. And if you have, a concern, I do want you to set up a meeting time with me every week. We definitely will be able to get through it if we keep that going. And, do your best. Programming is hard. It is not easy. Give yourself grace. You make a lot of mistakes, but, you just keep doing it every day. And that's the best way to learn. Course calendar goes through and talks about what we'll cover every week. Just go through all of these things. Let's talk about your course. Everything is pretty much the same as what you saw in 161A. Nothing is different here. The only thing is everything is done on Unix. So I'm going to show you a quick example for one assignment, and then I am going to stop and let you go through the rest of everything before we meet next week. So if you open every assignment document, looks very similar. For example, in assignment 2, the one thing that I want to point out is it says right here, testing an output on the Linux server. Make sure you follow this, and you must have this part, which is something that you do on the Unix server. And there are videos that talk about how to use this right here, and they are embedded in the shell as well. All your programming must be done on the server, right? As best as you can, and nothing complicated, very simple. It's easy to use. It is a little hard because you're so used to the GUI part of your Windows or Mac. The server is more text-based. So do your best, and again, we will get through it together. So make sure that you click on this manual, open it, and go through it. Every week has one chapter that we talk about, right? So open up the table of contents and start with the first week, the first thing that we do. This is all you need to do. I would start with what is Linux and how do I log in. And if you also look in your shell, if you go to week 1, it gets you started on how to do these things. And you should be able to do all of this stuff starting this Thursday on March 31st. So I know you're all on a break. Have a good break and try to do as best as you can. Email me with any questions you may have. I will see you next week.